This is United Network News with Sunny Galt, Calen Giff, Kimberly Gogan, and our field messengers from around the world. Here's today's real news.
Parents across the United States are facing a shortage of pediatricians, especially specialists. Fewer medical students are choosing pediatrics while other specialties grow. This shortage leaves many children without timely access to quality care, particularly for chronic or complex conditions.
The shortage of pediatricians, especially pediatric subspecialists, is only getting worse, leaving families with fewer choices and longer wait times. This growing problem is driven by aging doctors, increasing demand, burnout, lower pay, and fewer medical students choosing pediatrics. In 2024, only 92% of pediatric residency slots were filled, compared to 97% in 2023. That's according to the National Resident Match Program. And it's not just doctors feeling the impact. Pediatric nurse practitioners are in short supply too. According to the National Association of Pediatric Nurse Practitioners, less than 8% of nurse practitioners in the United States are certified as pediatric specialists. To make matters worse, nearly 30% of pediatric hospital units in the U.S. shut down between 2008 and 2022, compared to just 4.4% of adult units, according to a Northwestern medicine study.
What have you seen in your own experience? I mean, how does the loss of pediatric beds in hospitals affect children and their families directly?
So the biggest thing we're seeing across the country is kids having to wait or travel long distances to get definitive care. And by definitive care, it means you show up to a place and you have a condition that gets treated and the child gets discharged and is better. And what's happening now is in rural areas, they have to travel very long distances to children's hospitals. And even in urban areas and states like Massachusetts and Maryland, many community hospitals in the suburbs have shut down. So even if a child shows up not that far from a children's hospital, they still might have significant wait times and have to sit in a general ER for hours and hours waiting for transport to that children's hospital. And that delay in care has risk. It has the potential of the child getting worse, or maybe a potential outcome like they didn't make it when they should have.
Many doctors avoid pediatrics mainly due to lower pay. Pediatricians, despite having similar or more training than other doctors, earn about 25% less than adult doctors, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. So for students with loans, pediatrics isn't the best financial choice. One major reason for pediatrics being one of the lowest paid areas of medicine is more than a third of U.S. kids are on Medicaid, which pays pediatricians less than Medicare or private insurance. Even private insurance pays pediatricians less than other specialties. In fact, 8 of the 10 lowest paid medical fields are in pediatrics, according to a 2022 study. Another factor may be the high number of women in the field. Research shows pay often drops in fields with more women, as seen with teachers and similar professions. Additionally, a study by the American Academy of Pediatrics found female pediatricians are more likely to experience burnout, reporting higher emotional exhaustion and stress than their male colleagues. This shortage of pediatricians leaves parents struggling to find timely care, especially in rural or underserved areas, adding even more stress to an already tough situation.
We had an emergency happen with my daughter. It was January 2023. I found her having a full seizure in her sleep. We showed up at the emergency room minutes later. Everything went according to plan, exactly as you would want it to in an emergency. The trouble came when we called the next morning when we got home to get that neurologist. And we were told this was January. We were told the next available appointment was in April.
My younger child has autism and cognitive delays. We needed a neuropsych evaluation. That has an 18-month wait list.
I called 8 different practices, different providers, and they all say, oh, we're not taking new patients. I finally got one on the 9th try, and it would take new patients, and the first available appointment was June 2025. Isn't that terrible? You have to hope for somebody else to cancel an appointment to get your child the care that they need.
Some of the other options that they've given us were to drive, an hour and a half to another town. But what that also means is that once you're in that doctor, every time you go to see them, you have to make that same drive.
How did we get here? How did we get to the point where there isn't a neurosurgeon to see somebody that's been through the emergency room and is a candidate for surgery, and surgery that should happen sooner rather than later?
Pediatricians say fixing the national shortage means getting more medical students into pediatrics, improving work-life balance, and offering better financial perks. Waiving tuition could make a big difference, allowing students to choose careers based on passion instead of paychecks. For example, in 2024, 2 top medical schools, Albert Einstein College of Medicine and Johns Hopkins, announced they'd waive tuition thanks to generous donations, joining a small group of tuition-free schools. In the meantime, parents may need to rely on telehealth or travel to larger children's hospitals to ensure their kids get the care they need.
The shortage of pediatricians is a big problem that needs attention right away. Medical schools, healthcare organizations, and concerned parents all need to team up to tackle this issue and make it easier for families to access care for their kids. In recent months, H5N1, commonly known as bird flu, has dominated headlines with reports of widespread infections in poultry, wild birds, and even mammals. But just how serious is this issue? And are the drastic measures such as mass cullings truly necessary?
There are several different types of bird flu, but this particular strain is said to have started on poultry farms in China. From there, they say it made its way to wild migratory birds like ducks, geese, and swans who carried it around the world, either directly or by contaminating water sources with their droppings. What makes H5N1 more concerning is it doesn't just infect birds, it can jump to other animals too. There have even been confirmed cases in humans, including some deaths. But there's no evidence of it spreading from person to person, which is the key step needed for a virus to trigger a pandemic. In the U.S., the United States Department of Agriculture, or USDA, has been aggressively tracking H5N1 bird flu since February of 2022. This involves the regular testing of animals, primarily chickens. It starts with a technician from a government agency running a standard PCR test on the birds, looking for influenza A, one of the main strands of flu. If a bird tests positive, further testing is needed. If H5N1 is found on a farm, all of the birds are usually culled or killed right away. This includes chickens, turkeys, ducks, and any other poultry. The farm is often quarantined, meaning nothing, no birds, equipment, or supplies can be moved in or out. Since 2022, the USDA has ordered the culling of approximately 166 million birds in the U.S., including the healthy ones. The outbreak has significantly impacted the egg industry, leading to soaring prices and shortages.
I have between 1,000 and 2,000 people a day that come to my store, and they're looking for eggs. So we only get between 5 and 10% of whatever we order. I've never seen it like that before. And at this point in time, it's the same problem we've been having for the last 6 months, only now it's more critical.
It's the first time in my life that I've ever had to be kind of embarrassed on what I'm selling eggs for, and it's not our fault. We're paying today $7.45 for a dozen eggs. We're selling for $7.59. We're making 14 cents. That doesn't pay the bills.
So I bought eggs just a few days ago, actually. I was making a birthday cake for my boyfriend. And they were, I saw they ranged from $6 to $8 for just even like a dozen of them. And that was, I even said to myself, I'm like, this is blasphemy. It's just robbery. You know, it's really expensive.
This is a simple case of supply and demand. H5N1 isn't transmitted through the eggs or meat of birds when properly cooked. But when millions of these birds are killed, you reduce the supply, regardless of whether or not the birds actually had H5N1. And it's about to get much worse in Pennsylvania. In January 2025, the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture confirmed H5N1 on a commercial poultry farm, resulting in the killing of 50,000 birds. A couple of weeks later, they passed a bill to provide more technicians to test for poultry on these farms throughout the state. A move that's concerning for many farmers and homesteaders.
House Bill number 324, which has now passed the House, has passed the Senate and been signed into law by the governor. This whole purpose of this 3-page law is to hire more technicians that can go out to these poultry farms and start doing testing. May license as many certified poultry technicians as he deems necessary to carry out specified regulatory sampling and testing procedures. An unlimited amount of technicians, an army of technicians that they're going to send out to these poultry farms and conduct testing. Wow, that's a nice poultry farm you have there. It'd be a shame if something came back positive in our testing. Because then what happens is we have to eliminate by law all of your birds. Gone. And then, we won't have to pay you for the losses of those birds. That's what's been going on since day one. And this is why so many farmers, when they're approached by the USDA or other state agencies like this, and they get that knock on the door and they say, hey, you might want to just go ahead and cull all of your birds, because if we come back and we have a positive test on your birds, we're going to kill all your birds and not give you any compensation. But if you act now and act today and today's only sale, we're going to give you a whole bunch of money just to go ahead and eliminate your birds.
H5N1 has caused major problems worldwide. In places like France, Germany, India, and China, governments also called birds to stop the spread, with India destroying more than 10 million birds in just a few months in 2023. This has led to shortages of poultry and eggs, making prices soar. Small-scale farmers have been hit especially hard, struggling with both the culling and the rising costs of feed and supplies. The impact has been felt everywhere, from higher prices at the grocery store to disruptions in the poultry industry globally. And this has sparked a lot of talk about vaccinating poultry to control H5N1. It's a controversial topic because it could affect the eggs and meat produced by vaccinated birds. Plus, it might mess with the export of chickens between countries, since some places have strict rules about importing poultry from vaccinated flocks. What's interesting is these H5N1 outbreaks are usually found on factory farms. These large-scale operations pack a lot of birds into small spaces, and the crowded conditions, along with poor ventilation, make it super easy for the virus to spread, whether through droppings, contaminated feed, or water. It makes you wonder, though, what if chickens were allowed to roam more naturally, with space to move around and graze? Would their immune systems be stronger? And could they fight off the virus more effectively if they were under attack?
The whole program about avian influenza is about extermination. That is never a way to actually get ahead of disease. I'm waiting for them to say, I wonder if we should try putting these chickens out on pasture, moving them around all the time, give them some fresh area to be, and feed them non-GMO feeds instead of genetically modified organism feeds. And let's see if we can build a better immune system so that they're so robust they won't get avian influenza. Back many years ago, when high-path avian influenza hit Indochina, remember when it came through Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and all stuff? The UK did some experiments. They found that if a chicken eats 2 fresh blades of grass a day, 2 blades of fresh grass a day, she doesn't get avian influenza, all right? Well, ours are eating way more than 2 blades. And so We trust the immune system. We trust the system. We don't sit here, paranoid and paralyzed in fear. We believe that a robust immune system and an ecologically sound system actually bring functionality and credible solutions to this issue.
While massive cullings might help slow the spread of the virus in the short term, it also brings up big concerns about long-term sustainability, animal welfare, and food security. We need a more balanced approach. It's time for governments and industry leaders to rethink their strategies and focus on more sustainable, humane solutions that will better protect our farmers and their livestock.
After a big storm in Goffstown, New Hampshire, it's all about shoveling paths and roof racking to deal with the piles of icy, crusty snow. UNN Field Messenger CJ shows us the aftermath of the storm in her town.
Good morning. This is Field Messenger CJ from Goffstown, New Hampshire. I'm just reporting what it looks like after the storm that we had. It's February 19th and we had the storm on Sunday, so 3 days ago. And right now we're going to be taking Tori for a walk on our trails in the front yard because I don't know if you can see or not, but I'm going to take a quick picture to show you here. There's so much salt and ice on the roads right now that it's really just too much to take her. And yes, the old snowblower got to work out this weekend. So you ready to go, girl? Let's go for a walk. So we shovel and snow blow the paths for Tori because she's an older dog and her back end's pretty weak. So we shovel these paths in the front yard for her. And we've actually had to shovel them like twice because it's been very, very windy and cold. It's only 13 degrees out right now, but the beautiful sun is shining. And the wind has died down. We were getting gusts up to 48 miles an hour. And as you can see, there's been a lot of drifting. My husband did rake the roof prior to the storm, and even after now, you can see the drifts that the wind created up there, where there's still a lot of snow on there. And there's a lot of ice. We had layers. We had like very fine powdery snow, but the rain mixed in with it, so there's a lot of layers of snow, ice. I don't know if you can actually see the crusty snow because of the rain on top here. I'll try to show you. This is going to be our walk for today, and then we'll take her later. For all of you wondering what a roof rake looks like, that's a roof rake. It's like a big shovel with a long pole that you can extend to clear off your roofs because it becomes too heavy and it can actually damage the roof. So that's what a roof rake looks like. Thanks, Eli, for showing us.
Hi everyone, this is Leanne.
And I'm Jerry.
Coming to you from Tamworth, New South Wales.
Hi there, this is Rick from Arizona.
My name is Uchechukwu Owenebam from Igbo tribe, Nigeria.
Hi, this is Scott from Utah.
I'm Annette from Agassiz, British Columbia.
Hi, I'm Marcus Ulzet from Manipur State, India.
Real people reporting real stories from all around the world. That's what United Network News is all about.
Can you clap? We had a huge flood, which some call the flood of the century.
No fake news here. Our field messengers share personal experiences of what's really happening in their community.
We got some nice fish right here.
At UNN, you are the news.
My family and I had a very good time.
Take the next step. Become a UNN field messenger and share the real news with the world.
In the northwest province of South Africa,
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News.
I am United Network News, and if it's going to be, it's up to me.
It's going to be, it's up to me. If it is going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to me.
If it's going to be, it's up to us. Field Messages, United Network News. See you next time.
Step into a world of possibilities with New Earth, a groundbreaking series that shines light on holistic ways to live, work, and thrive. Join us weekly to discover new innovative ideas and explore the world around us as we, together, create our future, our New Earth.
Construction work is tough, and it's no secret it's also one of the most dangerous jobs out there. From operating heavy machinery to working at dizzying heights, the risks are just part of the job. And that's why safety isn't just important, it's the foundation of everything that happens on site.
Construction remains one of the most dangerous industries in the U.S., with 1,075 workplace deaths reported in 2023, the highest since 2011, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. In the UK, the situation is also alarming, with 51 construction-related fatalities in 2023 and 2024, per the Health and Safety Executive. Non-fatal injuries are widespread too, with 470,000 incidents reported in the past 3 years. A survey by Direct Line found 95% of tradespeople have been injured on the job, and 26% needed more than 6 months to recover. Common causes of fatal construction injuries include transportation incidents, falls, electrocution, and accidents involving heavy equipment. Data also reveals higher fatality rates among African American and Hispanic workers, highlighting a need for focused safety measures.
The construction industry had the most fatalities of any industry last year, both in the number of deaths and the actual overall fatality rate that increased. And, they still, fight these fatal work injuries that they have, in terms of the fatal for the falls, the struck bys, the caught in betweens, and the electrocutions.
However, the dangers of construction work go beyond physical injuries. The industry is also struggling with a mental health crisis. Construction workers face some of the highest suicide rates among all professions. For example, in the U.S., construction workers are 5 times more likely to die by suicide than the general population, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. In the UK, a social media company found 73% of construction workers have experienced mental health struggles, with 7,000 lives lost to suicide in the past decade.
Construction is inherently a difficult job. It is physically difficult, the wear and tear on people's bodies, as well as injuries, working long extended periods outside in the sun. There's a lot of physical injuries, which can lead to things like, opioid prescriptions that can turn into addictions or other forms of self-medication. And then they said there's also just this culture of macho-ness among a lot of construction workers, of not asking for help, of feeling like you should be able to handle your problems, you should keep those at homes, not wanting to share how they're feeling, not wanting to seek out and get help. And folks in the industry said that all those things combined can just lead to a really toxic mix that can lead people to taking their own life at a rate that is 75% higher among men in construction industry than it is for men in the general population, who already have a higher rate of suicide than women in the general population.
Workplace violence is an often overlooked issue in the construction industry, adding to existing safety concerns. It can come from coworkers, clients, or even outsiders with bad intentions. There are 4 main types: criminal acts like robbery, threats from clients, conflicts between coworkers, or personal relationship issues spilling into work. The impact can be serious, leaving employees feeling stressed, anxious, or even physically hurt. For companies, it can also mean big costs like legal fees, higher insurance rates, and the expense of replacing staff. On top of that, it damages morale and makes it harder to keep good employees around.
Let's talk about preventing workplace violence. Construction sites are high-stress environments. Tight deadlines, loud machinery, and sometimes short tempers. But there's a line between stress and harmful behavior. Understanding workplace violence helps us prevent it. Workplace violence isn't just physical fights. It can be verbal abuse, threats, harassment, or bullying. Early identification of these behaviors is key to stopping them from escalating. Think it can't happen on your site? Almost 9% of worker deaths in the U.S. in 2017 were due to workplace violence. It's a bigger issue than you might think. So how do we prevent it? Start with a zero-tolerance policy. Make sure everyone knows what behaviors aren't acceptable and how to report them. Next, training. Regular sessions on identifying and reporting violence can make a world of difference. Keep it ongoing, not just a one-off. Open communication is crucial. Encourage your crew to speak up without fear. A safe environment means everyone can voice concerns. Regular risk assessments help too. Look for potential hazards like poorly lit areas or high stress points, and don't underestimate the buddy system. Pairing up can reduce isolation and provide support when tensions rise. Finally, clear reporting and investigation procedures ensure every incident is addressed promptly and seriously.
When workplace accidents happen, losing a loved one is heartbreaking, leaving families to cope with both emotional and financial challenges. In the United States, most states require construction companies to have workers' compensation insurance, which provides death benefits to families covering lost future wages. In many cases, insurers offer a lump sum settlement instead of ongoing benefit payments. Families may also have the option to file a third-party lawsuit if someone else's negligence contributed to the worker's death.
From Dracula's spooky castles to eerie, Gothic monasteries, Romania is the perfect spot for anyone who loves the supernatural. UNN Field Messenger Monica takes us on a tour of 3 of the country's most notorious haunted spots.
Hi, this is Monica from Romania, Field Messenger, reporting for UNN. There are plenty of haunted spots and spooky historical places notorious for its creepy vibes to visit in Romania. For these reasons, Romania is a heaven for lovers of everything supernatural and legendary. Here are 3 of Romania's haunted spots. Corvin's Castle, one of the most haunted castles in the world. Legends say that Vlad the Impaler, the inspiration for Dracula, was imprisoned here, and that he would then haunt the castle. Curtea Monastery, the haunted abbey, where the famous horror movie The Nun was filmed. And Julia Hajdeu Castle, a place surrounded by dark stories and great love. Corvin's Castle, located in southwestern Transylvania in Hunedoara County, it was built by John of Hunedoara in the 15th century as a feudal residence and for strategic purposes. The coat of arms of the Corvin family is a raven with a golden ring in its beak, and this family symbol has a legend, which may have some truth in it. It is said that John of Hunedoara was the illegitimate son of King Sigismund of Luxembourg and Hungary, and his mother was Elizabeth, a very beautiful woman from the region. The king gave her a precious ring to give to her son upon his coming of age, when he will go to the royal court. In court, his true identity could be recognized with the help of the ring, but one day a raven stole the ring, attracted by its shine. To get the ring back, the boy immediately drew his bow and shot the raven with an arrow. When he heard the tale, the king was deeply impressed, so he decided that the family symbol will be a raven with a golden ring in its beak. In popular culture, the name of Corvin was used in the underworld by the legend of Dracula, and the Corvin Castle appeared in numerous movies such as Dragonheart, Battle of the Heart fire, and Ghost Rider 2. Cârța Monastery. This haunted monastery in Romania is an amazing monument to see. It is the only Cistercian abbey still standing in Romania, and actually the oldest Gothic fortified church within Eastern Europe. This unique monastery, built in the shape of a cross, was created by the order of the Cistercians as far as 1202. The Cistercians are Catholic monks that originated from France, Burgundy. The altar here is beautifully adorned in Baroque style, and the church is filled with Cistercian symbols. There is also an organ, and on the ceiling you can see the keystone with Holy Virgin Mary. The place is said to be haunted. Some say that strange things take place over there, like moving chairs or trembling walls. It is a breathtaking structure, and although it is an advanced state of decay, it remains majestic. Thank you for listening. Bye.
On a cold winter day, a warm spiced latte is the perfect companion. UNN Field Messenger Richard shares his recipe for a delicious and unique latte made with a blend of herbs and spices.
Hello, my name is Richard. I'm a field messenger for a United Network News channel. I live here in the Midwest of America, which is also known as the Corn Belt, where we grow all the feed for the animals in the world. Yeah, it's almost the end of February, and as you can see, we're getting a good snow, and there's more to come. Yeah, when the conditions are like this, it's easy to get around on skis. I just went to the local Amish farm to pick up some fresh milk. So the plan is we're going to show you all how to make a thick and spicy chai latte.
Now, in addition to our black tea leaves, add the following spices to your discretion. A tablespoon of cocoa powder, coriander, and ginger. Now add a teaspoon of the following spices: cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, the cardamom, black cumin, flannel, and vanilla. With all these spices open, it really smells good. Bring the temperature up to a boil, which also helps dissolve the herbs when you bring the heat down to a slow brew. For warm beverages, it's nice to pre-warm the mugs so it feels warm while you're enjoying the latte. Let's jump forward 30 minutes, and here's our brew. Fill the mugs about a quarter full. You'll want to adjust the portion in your next cups for your particular taste. 4 small figs per serving. Otherwise, use 2 of the larger Mediterranean figs will do it. I'm using raw milk from a local Amish farm. I'm just warming up this milk. This is the best time to add a pinch of cayenne, our secret ingredient. A teaspoon of ghee and nut butter gives you a smooth, buttery taste, along with the figs create a very delicious beverage, and most people prefer a tablespoon of sweetener like honey or molasses. This is a full-body latte, especially with the fresh whole milk. You know, the milk that's got the cream on top? This latte will keep you going all day, and you won't crash and burn like other cafes. Filling the mugs half full to avoid a blending mess. Start with a few pulses. Blend it until it thickens a bit. Then add the rest of the milk slowly. Just remember, too much milk will smother the spices and put the fire out, so to say. So You all want to adjust the ratio of the brew to milk to your own liking, especially after you acquire a taste for it. I hope this field report is giving you some insight into working a little magic of your own. You can even use a substitute for the black tea, like coffee or chicory root, or just leave it cocoa for the kids. Until my next UNN report, I guess I'll see you again.
UNN is changing the face of news. Join us for our weekly Field Messenger meetings and learn how you can make a difference. Visit unitednetwork.earth for more information. Thanks for watching.